Hey, this is Jonathan,
And Michael.
back with another movie review for Bro JMR. I know it's been a while since we've done one, but, well, we haven't really watched anything that we felt a desire to do a review on until tonight.
And yeah, nothing's really warranted a review. So we usually try to do stuff that we haven't seen before.
Yeah.
And plus, we've been very busy with other projects, so
Yep.
we thought we're on vacation, might as well expand our minds cinematically and watch something new.
Now, something that you guys don't know about us yet is we are both huge Kevin Smith fans.
Yes.
I'm just absolutely, just pretty much love anything the guy touches. So we decided to check out the one Kevin Smith movie that neither one of us had seen yet. Red State.
Red State. An unlikely film from that Kevin Smith.
And holy crap, what a movie.
Yeah. This is something that I would have never expected Kevin Smith to have his name on when you first put it in. But as you watch it, you realize, okay, yeah, that's Kevin Smith. Granted, there is no dick and fart jokes, as we're so accustomed to him getting.
No Star Wars references whatsoever.
No Star Wars references, no stoner references,
No Jason Mewes.
no nothing
Yeah.
that's even remotely is associated with Kevin Smith film. But wow.
Yeah. That I think that's one of the. I think that's actually part of one of the reasons why I probably like this one so much is because it doesn't have any of the Kevin Smith regulars in it. You know, and don't get me wrong, all the people from the Kevin Smith movies, they're good actors, but it's nice to see him do something where he goes a different way.
Yeah.
I mean, this one we got John Goodman, he's John Goodman,
Yeah.
period.
He can almost do no wrong.
Yeah. Michael Parks, who is fantastic. Uh,
A big Quentin Tarantino regular.
yes. Michael Arganello, who is somebody that not a lot of people know who he is, but he's somebody, but I'm a big fan of him. Which is actually kind of weird because I just watched the movie Sky High the other day, which was my introduction to him, which is a very different movie from this, and I digress on that.
And was also in Lords of Dogtown,
Lords of Dogtown.
one of my favorite films of all time.
Yes.
And so it was weird to see him like grown up as like, I don't know, in high school? I don't remember.
Yeah, probably.
Like, an upper age, either senior or freshman in college type person, to see him doing the things that he does. But, and who else is, Kyle Gallner.
Mm-hmm.
He was really good too. I don't know him in anything else. I've seen him in other things, but nothing comes to mind.
Yeah.
But it was,
He's been in a couple of. I can't remember right offhand. I know I looked it up while we were watching the movie, but I don't fully remember. Nicholas Braun is in this, who's also been in a few things, although he's really not recognizable as anything you've seen him in because he's tall and lanky and wearing jean shorts and a mullet in this.
yeah. Ugh.
Yeah. What was that all about?
I think the only thing that can even associate this stuff with other Kevin films of other of Kevin's films is the writing is so good.
Oh gosh, yes. Oh.
I think we have decided, I have decided that Kevin Smith is starting to get to the level of Aaron Sorkin when it comes to writing. But with the exception of this film, granted he's just a stoner version of Aaron Sorkin, but I think this movie really puts him up to where he can do some stuff that's not based on the Jersey trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, you know, if he decides not to retire, he can do some really good stuff.
I'd say that this is his best writing since...
I would say Chasing Amy.
I'd say, yeah, that's what I was thinking too. And I hate to use that as reference because I really don't like, I don't like the ending of Chasing Amy. I like the movie itself, I just really don't like the ending, and I don't like the writing at the end of it. It gets way too whiny. But the beginning of Chasing Amy and anything that was Ben Affleck and Joey Lauren Adams, the writing was brilliant.
Yeah.
This may be better.
Yeah.
Just the beginning of this movie really pulls you in.
Yes,
You know,
exactly.
the beginning of this movie, it starts off with a kid going to high school and he gets stuck in a traffic jam because a church is boycotting somebody's funeral. A teenager's funeral. Because he was gay. You realize at that moment that this movie is going to be kind of intense.
Yeah. And it was a real punch in the gut, really.
Yeah.
Especially as the movie plays out and gets to the end to where it gets quite violent.
Yes. Yes.
And it's very realistic violence. It's pretty, like, I don't want to say gory because a lot of people associate gore with horror movies, but it's pretty gory.
Yeah.
It is. It's not over the top like Pineapple Express was. That was just way that was just almost comical over the top. But this is very real.
It's almost... The violence in this movie almost makes you feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because he was trying to make this seem so realistic. And it's like when he was doing this movie and writing this movie and directing this movie, he wanted to make a realistic version of events set in something that's so fantastical that you almost don't think it could be real.
Yeah.
But, you know, stuff like this is real. We've seen it before.
I mean,
you know?
This basically just, without, you know, the giant fuck up fireball at the end, this was basically, the end of this movie was basically Waco.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. This is... it's an extreme version of what Westboro Baptist Church has been doing for the past 3-4 years.
Yes.
And they actually mentioned Westboro Baptist Church in this, which I think is hilarious.
Yeah, it is.
I thought that was so funny.
And they mentioned how Westboro just protests and they whine and cry about stuff, but this church that is portrayed in this movie is just Westboro, like, to the nth degree. It's almost like a cult.
Yes, a cult that is
one family.
That's one family that's well stocked and well armed, and they have a room full of automatic weapons that they're not afraid to use. And I think that was really the whole point of the movie. Is he's not trying to just show, you know, religious nuts in it. He's showing true believers that are willing to do anything for their belief, even if that includes killing everybody.
Yeah.
He was trying to take religious fanaticism to the absolute extreme, and it almost seems like maybe he was doing this more as a PSA than anything.
I think so, yeah.
Saying, you know, hey guys, this is what happens when you take it this far.
And it's not right.
Yes.
the way they tie up and, well, almost torture people, but not torture as what you would think. It's
Yeah.
more a psychological torture.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
And
Yes.
they do it in the middle of a church service. And, well, with that, I think you want to talk about Michael Parks, don't you?
Oh God. This man. I haven't seen a lot of stuff that he's been in, but every time I do see him in something, he's one of those character actors that you remember. You know, he plays the sheriff in Kill Bill 1 and 2, and the Grindhouse movies, and From Dusk Till Dawn. That was the other.
That's what it was.
That was the other one. He plays the sheriff in that, and there's something very memorable about him as an actor, and I think a big part of it is that voice. You know, he has that very calm, collected Southern demeanor about him, and he's actually a country singer too. A lot of people don't know that, but he's actually a old-time country singer, kind of in the vein of like Johnny Cash or Waylon Jennings. But oh my gosh, his performance in this. I read some trivia that Kevin Smith actually wrote his part specifically for Michael Parks, and if Michael Parks had said no, he was going to scrap the whole project because he wouldn't do it without him. And he was just amazing in it. He's so calm and so collected up until the end, and then he starts to lose it. And he just has that very soothing voice that I watched this and I thought of some of the pastors from some of my old churches. You know? He has that way of speaking that just gets you in there, but you can hear it in his voice and behind his eyes that you know that he has craziness back there. And that's what made, that was the most terrifying part of the movie for him. For me, was his character.
Just that sermon that he delivers.
Yeah. The introduction of his character is like a 10-minute sermon that he gives while one of the characters is tied up in a cage and another person is taped to a cross in the middle of the service.
Yeah.
In front of everybody. And he's giving a sermon about the wicked world. And it is chilling. I mean, actually chilling.
And in the midst of this sermon, his congregation is basically just his family. Because they've all been, you know, everybody's related by blood or marriage. And so, you know, basically he's the patriarchal leader of this group and this family. Everybody calls him dad or grandpa. And one of the things I think is done great about this is, because right now we have the title screen playing right now, because there's some really beautiful piano music that's playing, but it's showing different scenes from inside that sermon, and you actually feel for like these characters that, you know, this really is, I mean, he's their father. What he says is right. Now, when it comes to at the end, as you know, it all goes batshit crazy. But you know, you see the kids in the congregation. There's only about maybe 10, 15 of them in the whole thing, but you really believe that this is a family. This is what they do, and you know, you almost kind of feel bad for them when it's all said and done. And then you realize that, you know, they brought it upon themselves. They are what they hate, I think.
Very good. I like that.
Yeah. They want to preach, you know, that the world is terrible and it's so evil and everything, but what they're doing is evil. You know, all the hatred that they have for people, and they can't just show, they can't be tolerant of anybody. You know, they are their own worst enemy.
Yeah.
And it's just, that's, I think, like what you said, it's just chilling.
Yeah, it really
Hearing
is.
that sermon.
you almost the way he delivers it, it's like you almost believe that he's in the right.
But then you get to the first death, and everything just starts falling apart.
Yeah, it just goes downhill for there.
Yeah,
That's when it like opens up and becomes a completely different film.
yeah. You know, it really does. It just after that first murder, everything starts to slowly become worse and worse and worse, and it's little tiny things that are all happening at once.
Yeah,
And then something big happens, and everything, just the world blows up. You know,
well, their world.
their world blows up. Yeah,
Yes.
that's what I mean. Yeah, we're not talking about Cabin in the Woods here.
Yeah,
That's right.
but there was just so many similarities between this and News Events, and it's so real. I mean, you almost forget sometimes that you're watching a movie. It makes you almost you feel like you're watching, CNN coverage of, live events that's happening.
Yeah, it really does. It was so. They tried to do it so realistic
And a lot of times
that
when
it makes it
somebody,
disturbing.
and a lot of times when somebody tries to go to that extreme and make something so real, it almost feels forced and faked. But it was just perfect balance of this.
Yeah.
And maybe we're a little biased because we're Kevin Smith fans, but like I said before, this is not Kevin Smith though. This is not a Kevin Smith film. Even though it's written and directed by Kevin Smith, it's not what you expect from him. And it was great.
Oh, just amazing. Everything in this is perfect.
Yeah.
You know? John Goodman does an amazing job, as always. Although, his character is very different in this.
Yeah.
He usually plays a very forceful, confident character.
He's very subdued.
He's very subdued in this one. He doesn't have a lot of confidence. He doesn't seem to have... Well, he has confidence in himself, I guess, but...
He doesn't have confidence in his superiors.
Yeah. But yet he still feels forced to do what they say. And it's weird. He did a good job, but it's just weird to see him in a role like that because you're so used to seeing him in very forceful roles.
Yeah.
You know? So,
Yeah.
yeah. I hate to talk about the end of this because it's so weird. The ending is very weird. This movie, like, it builds up to a crescendo and then it just, like, stops. And then you get the ending. You know, the ending isn't, like, the big point. The ending is actually about 15 minutes away from the actual, what you think is going to be the end of the movie. There's still like 15 minutes after that. But once that ending hits, it's like it just stops.
Yeah.
And then there's like 15 more minutes of dialogue that's funny and kind of irreverent and kind of weird. But it wraps everything up.
It wraps everything up in a nice little bow.
Yeah. I guess I was expecting an ending that was a little bit darker and a little bit more intense than what they actually did, but that wouldn't have been realistic.
Yeah.
And they were going for realistic. What happens at the end is actually how a situation like that could potentially end.
Yeah.
And so it makes sense. But you're expecting something huge, like a mass suicide or a complete suicide by cop or something like that. Yeah. But then it just like, oh, nope, we're done.
Yep. It's like, oh, we give up.
Yeah.
So, quite odd, quite great.
Very good.
Of course, Westboro protested this movie, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But it was kind of funny that Kevin Smith actually invited members of the church to one of the openings. Members of Westboro actually said that it was a great and very realistic
Depiction
of what it is like to be in a religious fanatic group like this.
Yeah.
So if Westboro is saying that this is the way it's real and the way it is, then props to Kevin Smith for doing a good job.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely, definitely a controversial
Mm-hmm.
film for him,
Yeah,
which is nice. He hasn't done one of those since Dogma,
yeah,
and Dogma was comedy.
and Dogma's comedy, yeah.
Dogma obviously wasn't trying to take itself seriously. This one kind of was.
Yeah. So definitely check it out if you haven't seen it. This is not one that you're gonna like have multiple viewings of, for sure.
Oh no, no, this is very much in vein of like American History X.
Yeah.
Watch it maybe once a year, if that.
Yeah,
You know.
but enjoy it when you watch it.
Oh yes, if this is the way Kevin Smith, if this is what Kevin Smith is doing now, even though he actually wrote this in like 2007, it just took a while to get it released. I have high hopes for his future projects. I kind of hope he continues in this vein.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna actually retire like he's saying.
Oh God, no.
So, Red State, give it a check out,
Definitely.
and tell us what you think on this video. Be sure to comment with us. Tell us what you think. Tell us if there's something you want us to do. You know, maybe
Please, we always take suggestions. Yeah, anything you want to see us review. If we have it, we'll review it.
Yeah.
If Netflix has it, we'll review it. If neither one of those have it, then wait till we buy it, because we'll eventually own all the movies. All of them.
all the movies in the world. Ha 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 ha.
Yeah. So.
So anyway, this is us. See you next time.